Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Wednesday, January 7th, and the year has begun. And we are a couple of days down the road. So far, the market is trading higher. So far, they're holding on to their gains, and I'm just kind of holding my breath. See if they're going to be able to pull this off, or this is one of these beginning of January little excitement rallies, and then we'll see some settling going on in the next half of the month, the next part of it, or yeah, next half of this month. We will see. I mean, it's January is always exciting because you never know quite how it's going to get. You think it's going to be like, yeah, it's going to be continuation of the little rally we had going into the holidays, but no. And sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't. It's just it's usually a crapshoot. It's just you have to kind of just take it as it comes. So far, no, the start of January has been on the positive side. We'll see how far they can take it. As I said yesterday, this is setting up a retest failure right now at the very highs, at the all-time high, 68.90s, and we are right up there. 68, 69.91 was a high. I'm not sure if we quite taken out the high with a tick or two or something, but they're right up there at the highs. And I'm watching 7,000. Look how close that is. 7,000, right up there. I'm going to draw a line up there as well. But you can see we are right up here. Uh, this could be a move out of the middle to the upside, or it could be at the end of the rally. So it could go either way today. It's going to be interesting. Capital flow is pointed high though, and we are right up there. Now, before I keep going, news this morning, we have the mortgage application came out at 7. The purchase was down, refinance were up. So that's pretty much not no one's buying, but it's refinance stuff is to the upside. I think the mortgage rates came down a bit, or have been coming down. Uh, Not enough by any means, but it's enough for the refinance people refinancing aggressively, I guess. It's not cheap to refinance either. So I mean, if you have to refinance every time you want to drop your rate a point, that's a lot of work, a lot of money involved in that. Then at 8:15 we get the ADP employment report. Factory orders at 10, ISM services at 10, job openings at 10. So all that's happening at 10 today. So nothing much at 8:30. At 10 o'clock we get factory orders, ISM services, and JOLTS, job openings. And at 10:30 we get an order report. So that's what we got on tap right now. And we'll see. Let me see like that. And we'll see how the market reacts to it. But I'm going to stay on the positive side, stay on the long side until the market shows me otherwise. I'm just, as I said, holding my breath. See this beginning of the rally. I've been caught in this before. I think I forget which year that was, but I got caught in this thing. Exactly starting off like this, a nice little rally, good to get going. I put some money to work, and then just to see it evaporate, that's like, oh my God, the whole market just tanked. And you just never know what's going to happen. So it could keep going. I think we have some good fundamentals behind us to make the market keep going. I just heard that we may get the tariff verdict out from the Supreme Court on Friday. We'll see if that happens, but I think that could be a big market mover. And on Friday, we also have that employment situation. So who knows? Friday could be a crazy day. And who knows how the market's going to react to a tariff if it goes against the administration, or how that's going to go. The market reaction is kind of up in the air. I would expect a negative ruling or the limitation on that to have a negative impact initially, but it's anyone's guess really. But you can make the argument all sorts of ways there. So initially, starting from the long side, looking to buy weakness against the 69.75s, 69.70s, 69.60s for rotations up. Below 60s, I would be starting to think about taking off that long bias. Below the 50s, I'm taking off the long bias and I'm back range bound. So that's kind of the looking at it. So this is these two support areas, the 69.60s and the 69.50s are key. If they can't hold above those, we are going to be back range bound in a heartbeat. And also on the way down, we can certainly find ourselves in a risk-off day. So the bigger picture here right now is the retest failure setting up. We had a high here at the Christmas on the 29th, and also at 26. That was the high here on this uh, the new high at the 69.93. Then we had and now we are up here retesting that level again. So if this retest fails and we start backing off, we could see a little bit more selling. It could be a little bit more of a violent reaction to the downside. Definitely right back into this low range, the 6900s. But I would be watching these lower areas, the 6890s at that point. So these two support areas on the way down, 6900, 6890s. It's going to be key for them to be able to hold on to this. Now I know they took it a little bit lower. They were down here at the 6870s on this trading day here, but it really they did a number on us. But I would just I would take that with a grain of salt. So these are the Monday we're getting into. This is the Friday trading. It was all craziness going on the first trading day of January. So I wrote this off as tax profit selling, but at this point, it's this area of congestion is really, or this area of support, I should say, is going to be critical. That comes out, we're going to be in a whole different world of trouble. So right now, staying on the long side, looking to buy weakness, initial first levels, 69.75s, the 70s and the 60s. A little bit more aggressively against the 60s and the 50s. Those come out, then taking off the long buyouts. And on the way up, looking for shorts against the 69.85s and 69.90, 95s here. We'll see how strong it gets. Usually you don't get that this straight shot up. You're going to get the run up here to probing the edge, and then you're going to try to grind it and going to try to knock it down. So usually you get a little bit of congestion going on here before they can really start moving higher. But we will see. Yeah, we have news this morning which potentially can move it a little bit. So it could be supportive, could drag it down. I think the bigger things happens on Friday, to be honest with you. That's where we get potential Supreme Court verdicts as well as employment situation. So staying on the long side, looking to buy weakness, prefer the long side. Going to be definitely looking for shorts against the 85s and the 95s, but just a little bit of caution, but they are definitely areas to look for short setups against. And 7,000 not too far away. I'm going to put a little marker on it just so if you want to forget where it's at. Right there is 7,000, 7,000 right there. All right. So here you have it, just so you know. If they're gonna go up there, you go 7,000 right down on the nose. If they run up there, they're hitting that target. The next little item we got, Nasdaq, is not quite as strong. They're up here against this ledge right now. They backed off a little bit in the overnight, but they were up here testing it in yesterday's trading. And we are, as long as we hold about this volume edge here at the 730s, I think we have a good shot at taking this higher. Pretty obvious on the F1 here, this little volume blob we got going. We're holding right above it now. So in this little twilight zone here between that edge 730 and the 800 to 830s is where we are trading. If they can blow through this thing, Nasdaq could really take off to the upside. We have a little bit more room before we start hitting all-time highs. So we'll see. Everything looks like it's set up for them to potentially take out the highs and go higher. This is the retest though. So we are up here retesting we took out the 790s. We have retested the 830s, 840s. And this could also be a retest failure setting up here. So we will find out. At this point, starting from the long side though, looking to buy weakness against the 730s, 680s down to the 650s, rotations up. I would say below 650s, I think we are right back in that lower range again. So the 700 is really the level to key in on. So let's adjust that. Below 680, you're going to be right down in this lower range again. So looking to buy against that 730s and 680s. I'm going to take off the long bias below 680s. Still looking to buy against the 640s and the 640s and the 600s for rotations up, but not as aggressively. So Nasdaq is in the spot, but if they back off a couple of levels here, I'm going to take off the bias to the upside. I think at that point they're just back in that lower range again. So ES has a little bit more room to go. Nasdaq is a little bit tighter right now. They're pretty close to their little volume area. So we'll see how they can move this higher or not. But definitely looking at starting this on the long side of the market. There is no guarantees, as you know, and the market is going to do what it's doing. But it's been grinding higher now. So it could be the leftover Santa rally. And as I said, I'm kind of watching it carefully to see if you're going to get a risk-off day and a little bit of a selling dynamic going on here in January or not. So we'll find out. A lot of people are talking about this very let's say choppy first quarter, and it's I don't know, anyone's guess. I don't know quite where to get it from, but it seems like they sorted out most of the big issues, and they got the big tax bill coming in play or kicking in gear, and you have all sorts of issues being resolved, and it looks like most of it things are on track, at least for financially to be on the right side, to be moving this market higher. Now we're going to get earnings come out soon as well, so the earnings season starts in a week or so. So that's going to be another one potentially could either keep this rally going or potentially knock it down. So anyway, so starting the ES and Nasdaq from the long side, both of them. ES definitely have some nice short opportunities on the way up, but I would start from the long side at this point, looking to buy weakness. We're shifting our bias below that 69.60s. Well, 60s and 40s is what I said. So both of them has to come out really before we shift our bias to the downside or back to range bound. And on the Nasdaq, a little bit more aggressively on the Nasdaq in terms of how fast we want to move that. So they have down here at the it's below the 680s with shifting bias back to range bound on the Nasdaq. And definitely short opportunities against the 790s and the 840s on the Nasdaq. That is right up against that four-letter ledge, and it's not four letters, and it's a pretty big ledge right now. So talking about on the Nasdaq, I'm talking about this big ledge right there. So that's a pretty good ledge to get short against. So it's still looking for short setups against that one until such time that they with a little bit of conviction blow through it and leaves it behind. Finally, bonds to the upside. Look at the bond market go. So definitely trading higher. And at the open here, they are opening right now, but definitely right up here against the 1528s, taking out the 26s, heading up to the 116s right now. And so they are slowly grinding back up. And remember, we are still just trading in this little area of volume, right? So that back and forth in this high volume area. We've been holding in this high volume node right now for a few days. This whole area has been right at that high volume node. And now we're going to heading back up, passing this low volume area, heading up towards the 1625. So we may see a little move to the upside now. So I'm going to start this one from the long side, starting with a slight bias to the upside on the bonds. So I'm going to buy weakness against this 26s and the 15, 16 to 18s. And I think below 15, 18s, we are back range bound. So this little bias to the upside, we'll see how far they can take it. You're going to run into some good resistance at 116 and then 1608, not as strong, but definitely an edge to watch. So looking for shorts against that 116, and if that comes out, I'm going to stay on the long side. I think that they can really start making a dent on the upside here. So we'll see. Nice little base formation, as you can see, the last few days, and now we're starting to head higher. They had to clear that hurdle, though, the 116, and then the 1607, 8 here, that's going to be a weaker edge, but still an area they had to get through. And if they can clear both these two, I think we are solidly heading back up to the 117 mark. We'll see. But that's how I'm going to get started. Starting this on the long side of the market, looking to buy weakness. Let's see how far they can take it. Alrighty, guys. So now, if I find the setup here at the 16, a short setup, I'll probably look for to take it, but I'm going to be a little bit less aggressive on it. Looks like the market is in there's a little bit of movement going on right now. We have 1505 to almost 116, almost a full point in the overnight. That's pretty good range. That's pretty good range. All right, back to the ES and Nasdaq, and let's see how that everything is exactly where we left it. So we got the ADP report. I didn't see a big reaction, so I don't think much going on there. No big reaction on that guy. At least not for now. Let me see if I got the number out here. EDP 41,000. So a little bit on the weak side, and 41,000. They expected 47,000. It's a little bit weaker than expected, but like you can see, as you can see, the market just yawned at the whole thing, no reaction whatsoever. Alrighty, guys, we'll leave it there. So I'm going to wrap it there for now, and I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. So good trading, guys, and I'll see you back then.